What's up everybody, this is Linares with the Sam Villa ArTeam, playing a little salon scenarios with you today. Scenario. We had a lady come in last week, we cut her a nice bob with a big full fringe, but we didn't do any sort of face framing layer. So she's come back to us, says she feels a little bit imprisoned by all this hair living right around her cheeks. She'd love to see us open that up just a little bit more and expose some of those cheekbones for her. So the last thing we want to do is go in and start to face frame this around the jaw, because if we reconstruct a bob to have a strong perimeter all the way up to the jaw, if we go in and begin to angle this off to create face framing, which we might sometimes do, we would end up losing something that we love about this shape. So what we're going to do instead is use our imagination and shift these face framing layers into the upper layers, and we found a way that we can use these to bridge this area from the fringe into the rest of the haircut, and we'll show you how. Now our objective here is just to release her from this prison that we've caused, right? So if there's a way that we could just open up that cheekbone and cause this to peel back a little bit farther, we'd be right exactly where we want to be. So we're going to take those face framers from the top. We're looking for where our fringe ends, which is going to be slightly in front of the high point of the head, right about there. That's going to be my first guide that lives right there, and it's going to allow me to feed this backwards into the rest of the layer. So from that point, I'm going to take a section about 1/2 inch inside with a slightly diagonal back section. And I'm going to take everything behind that and isolate it with a clip, put it away. So you get a little something that looks like this. That'll be your section. And what's happening is we're getting those hairs that are living closest to the face and just enough of our perimeter to leave us a guide to where we know we need to stop. Turn her back to you. We're going to take our first section diagonal forward, which puts us right next to the fringe. And I'm going to peel a little bit of the fringe to go with me, just like that. And as I work this, I'm going to over-direct forward, because over-direction will yield me length and weight in the opposite direction, which is a way of guaranteeing that I'm not going to overbite this. I'm going to let the length escape. So I see where my fringe stops right there, and I see where the perimeter is down here at the bottom of this. So I just need to join these two, and I'm going to slide cut from the interior. So placing my body in the right position, coming in over the top, and working that off. Making sure that I see that perimeter drop out. Once I have that done, let's take a look. What we should see is that this is starting to open up around the face a little bit more, with a little bit of a shorter layer. If I think I need to see a little bit more in there, I can look at it, take a little bit more hair, add it back in the mix, and recut. Let's do that. I feel like I could go just a little bit farther. So going a little bit lower this time, but still making sure that I can see my perimeter down there by the jaw. I'll take the same section I did before and assume the same body stance, over-directing forward slightly to make sure that I preserve that length towards the back of the head. Here's where I need to take the bulk out, working my way down to the perimeter. Comb that into place and take another look. Now we're starting to see something. I'm definitely getting that little bit of curvature around the cheekbone that I want to see. I'm feeling good. We're going to go to the other side and repeat the same thing. Perfect tool for the job here is our new Artist Series slide cutting shear. With its curved blades that allow the hair to escape as it closes, it's the perfect for executing that buttery bob and those beautiful bangs with so much texture, never looking too clanky. So I peeled off the same section on this side. Once again, we're going to take that guide from where the fringe stopped up there, and we're going to work all of this forward, diagonal forward, using that as my guide, and then the perimeter down here is where I need to stop. So underneath there, you can see where that starts at the top, and we're going to work down to our length. So I'll need to make sure that this final little piece at the bottom drops out, so I know that the perimeter is safe. Slide cutting through, making sure that that length dropped out. I saw a little bit more drop than I wanted to at the bottom, so I'm just going to pick that section up again and continue until I know it's right. There we go. Let's have a look from the side view. And what we want to see is that cheekbone opening up a little bit more and peeling back away from the face while keeping that good perimeter down there. We don't want to lose what we love. And when you're done, even though we've executed the technique, let's take one final look and make sure that all the details are in place. Let's look at it from the side. Because we took our face framers, as it were, from the top layer, it is likely that you will see a little bit of a float, and the little tiny bit of hair that we left for the perimeter may start to look a little bit detached from that. And that's one thing that we don't want. So we're going to take our Invisablend shear, which makes a very light reduction and leaves no trace of its footprint anywhere in the haircut. And we're going to just detail that together a little bit without sacrificing the length. 1 or 2 taps ought to do it. So I'm going to get right in there with those two joined together. Give it 1. And then 1 more just inside the hairline. Before I do anything else, I'll comb that through and just take a look. Fuss it around a little bit. Some hairdressers say give it a zhuzh, and we'll see how well it feeds together now. If it still feels a little tiny bit heavy right there, I'll come in vertically and just work out a little bit more of that. This is one of those things that it's easy to camp out and detail it too much, so hold yourself to a limit. 2 or 3 taps should be all that you need. If you find that you're spending a lot more time there than you should, you may want to revisit one of the details in your face framing layers. Dropping this back down, and once again we see that little bit of float right in there. I'm going to step to the other side and do the same thing I did over there. Working where the 2 join, working 1 in front, working 1 into the weight. That's what gave me the result I liked on the other side. Does pretty well on this side too. So the haircut's really never complete, friends. Always something more that we could do. So let's just review a little bit. We wanted to cause a little bit of openness to happen around the cheekbone. She was feeling like she just had a little bit of imprisonment going on right there. So we did not want to sacrifice the strength of our perimeter on this bob. What we loved about our bob, what made it so strong, was that it continued in that diagonal forward line all the way under the jaw there. To take that away would have sacrificed something that we liked about the cut. So we shifted our attention upwards into the upper layers, and we took a guide starting here at the top of the fringe, and a slight diagonal back line to keep us isolated in front of the ear. Taking a small diagonal forward section, we elevated forward with some over direction and just took out all that bulk, which fed us a nice diagonal back line that lived right on top of that good perimeter. And when we noticed that that perimeter looked a little bit detached from the uppermost layer, a couple love taps with our Invisablend brought everything back into harmony. As always, we hope you found this information at least interesting, but hopefully useful in your world of hair. Please look for us on social. We're out there, we're in your classes, we're in your salons, we're at your shows. We'd love to share everything we know with you. Please look for us. I'm Linares with the Sam Villa ArTeam.